Hello everyone, my name is Catherine Conti and I'm a sewing machine sales associate here at the Sewing Studio Fabric Superstore in Maitland, Florida. And today we wanted to help you learn how to clean out your machine, because a clean machine is a well-running machine that's going to last you a super long time. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the Creative Notions Advanced Driver Set. This is my favorite tool. If I was stuck on an island and I could only have one luxury item, this would be it. My hands get real crampy sometimes and I cannot work well with screwdrivers. I feel all goofy and droppy and it's just not a good thing. Whereas this is a really super easy tool to use, and it really is helpful in getting rid of the bolt when you're taking the ankle on and off, and also the screws in removing your needle plate. So first I want to start off with removing the accessory tray so that you have easy access to your bobbin case area. Okay, so now I just wanted to make it clear that usually we turn the machine off when we do this because there's sensors in here that don't like it when we start to open up electronics while the machine is turned on, but I can't see when I do it that way. So instead of turning the machine off, what I like to do is I take the needle out. It's hard when you stab yourself by accident and then you don't want to bleed on the stuff around you, so go ahead and just get the needle out for safety. Also, to give yourself a little bit more room, you're going to want to take the foot off and get the foot out of your way as well. Okay, now we're going to take these screws out so that we can get the needle plate off. I'm not opening up the machine yet because ask me how I know to take the screws out with it covered up. It's because I've dropped screws down in my machine before, so that's definitely something you don't want to do, because then you're trying to find them and get them out and it's not the easiest thing at all. And again, here's where I use my advanced driver set, because it's super easy just to put the little screwdriver in here and use your fingers to tip it out instead of using a screwdriver. Okay, now that I've got the screws out, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to go ahead and remove this plastic plate, and I'm going to remove the needle plate. Sometimes they come out together and sometimes they don't. And look how easy they just both came out together. The next thing you're going to do is take out your bobbin and then take out your bobbin case. While I take out this bobbin case, I just want to point out the fuzz here. When you're cleaning the machine, you're going to want to go ahead and give this area a good little clean out, a little dust off, just to make sure there's no dusties. But don't pick that fuzz off. That fuzz is actually supposed to be there. It helps guide the bobbin thread in the proper direction when you're sewing. So don't pick it off. Okay. Next, I want to point out a couple of things in here. This little blade right here is the razor blade that's connected to the scissor cutting function on your machine. Occasionally, a little piece of thread might get stuck down in there, so gently get your tweezers and remove that little bit of thread. Also, right here, there's a tiny bit of fuzz. The fuzz that's right there guides the blade as the blade comes forward and backward, and it'll help brush off any thread and hopefully prevent thread from getting caught under there. So don't pick that fuzz out either. It's meant to be there. Alright, so now that I've pointed out that, it's time to clean the machine. So what you want to do is use your brush to clean out as much as you can of any dust or lint that you see. And the best thing to do is to dip and pick it off. Dip and pick it off. We don't have very much lint in this machine because we keep it clean. You want to try and clean your machine about once a week, especially if you're using it even for 5 minutes a day, and especially if you're using a flannel or a polar fleece or quilting. Any of those kinds of things are going to deposit quite a few fibers down in your machine, so a clean machine is a well-running machine. So once you've got that area cleaned out, you want to take your little stylus and run it around the rim of your bobbin case. Sometimes dust can get in there, and then when the bobbin case goes in, it's uneven. So we want to have a nice, even, clean surface for the bobbin case to rest on. Now we're going to put the machine back together. So the first thing that I do is take my needle plate and rest it in there. Once the needle plate is rested in there, now you're going to take this. There's a little divot right there and a hole right there. So the divot goes in the hole, and then the whole thing goes forward. Again, we put that back on so that when we go to do the screws, they don't fall down in your machine. Not nice words will come out of your mouth if your screws fall down into your machine. So let's go ahead and get the screws back in. Okay, once your screws are back in, we're going to take our finger in this little divot back here and go ahead and remove the plastic plate again. Now, this was the last thing that we pulled out of the machine when we started to clean it, and it's actually going to be the last thing in. If you put your bobbin case in first and then put your needle plate down and screw it in, it locks this bobbin case where the bobbin case can't move the way that it needs to move, and you'll end up with nesting and thread breakage and all kinds of problems. So last out, last in on your bobbin case. Most bobbin cases have a little tiny divot right here, and then there's usually some sort of triangle or dot marking. You're going to want to match the divot and the dot with this little corner piece right here and the little dot right there. Sometimes this takes me just a second, and sometimes it takes me 10 minutes. Oh, and look, today it only took a second. And then you want to give a little wiggle just to make sure that nothing is unbalanced or out of order. And once you have a little wiggle, everything's good to go. Then we're going to take our little plastic piece. You usually have a little divot there which goes into the little hole right there. And again, you're just going to slide it forward. Now that you have this back on, you can open it up, take your bobbin, and with our bobbins, the bobbins drop in, and as I like to say, they come under the arm and over the mountain. I asked my daughter one time, why do you say under the arm and over the mountain? And she said, because the arm is hugging the bobbin, Mama, which I think is a really sweet visual. Then we have the bobbin case cover, which is going to go right here and snap right down. And there you have it, a nice clean machine. So I love my machine. It makes me happy. It makes my daughter happy. I can do things for other people as well as for myself. A clean machine is going to be a long-lasting, well-running machine. Keep your machine clean and it'll take care of you for a long, long time. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that I've been able to help. I hope that you've learned a little something. If you have any other questions or want any more inspiration, visit other stories and tutorials on our blog. We're certainly happy to help inspire you. Thank you so much.